Greetings and welcome to my channel. My name is Auntie Yami. Welcome to my channel. How are you? How are you doing wherever you are? Today I'm going to make my channel a bit tasty. Why is it like that? It's because I'm going to show you some of the speeches the West doesn't want to hear. They don't want to know about these speeches, which are made by some of the activists in Africa. These are Africans. Either they are in diaspora or they are somewhere, but these are Africans. And also, I'm not going to add one more speech from our daughter of the soil, who is the president of Barbados, because this woman stands up for justice. She stands up for Africa, even Caribbean. So I did not want to deny her the opportunity to appear on my channel today, Anyway, who are these activists and presidents who are standing out and show the world that Africa is not what we think? Africa is not the dark continent. Africa is not poor. Professor Lumumba, you know Lumumba, Traore. We are not going to forget Traore, because all these activists, they will always touch Traore. What about Arikana Chihombori-Quao? This is a Zimbabwean medical doctor and activist. She is a public speaker, educator, diplomat, founder of medical clinics, and an entrepreneur. She moved to United States after living many years in Zimbabwe. The people we need in Africa. And I'm so excited being a woman that there are women out there who are standing out. They are coming up and defend Africa and speaks the truth without hiding. Who else is in my on my channel today? As I said, President Mia. So it's gonna be Lumumba, Traore, Arikana Chihombori, President Mia of Barbados. Don't forget to subscribe, like, comment, and share. Lumumba. One day Lumumba had a speech. He was talking about how Africans are taught how to do everything in English, as if we don't have our African languages. They are taught how to teach in French. Our universities are taught how to teach in Portuguese. Our universities are taught how to teach in Italian or even in Spanish. Wow! They don't recognize us. We are nobodies because our languages, they don't recognize them. They always say you cannot go anywhere because of your mother language. You cannot go anywhere with your African language, your African dialect. Now, we are struggling a lot because if you see in their schools, they are teaching their languages. But with us, we were born with our own mother's dialects, but we have to start from below and up because Africa was already denied. We cannot use our own language. Listen to this as I continue. This is Lumumba's speech. Continue listening as you subscribe, like, comment, and share.
Go to Denmark, they teach in Danish. Go to Norway, they teach in Norwegian. Go to Sweden, they teach in Swedish. Go to Finland, they teach in Finnish. Go to Korea, they teach in Korean. Go to China, they teach in Chinese. Go to Japan, they teach in Japanese, then they meet the world. But you and me, here I am waxing eloquent in English. We were told that all the education we had acquired meant nothing. So that if you are eloquent in Ga or in Chui, you are not intelligent. You are only intelligent in English. You can only be intelligent in French, in Portuguese. We now know that that is nonsense. When that great Nigerian musician in the 1980s, fella Nicola Pokuti said, "Teacher, don't teach me nonsense."
You've heard Lumumba, my people. You can hear what he said. We need to examine our education system. Africa needs to stand out. We need to try hard to come up with solutions, because we cannot continue to be undermined with our intelligence. You've seen there are a lot of African professors there. There are a lot of Africans who are very intelligent. There are a lot of Africans who are leaders, very intelligent leaders. They've got wisdom. You've seen Africa. You've seen our graduates. You've seen our doctors. You've seen each and everything, engineers who are Africans. But why are we allowing the West to dictate us, to tell us how we can learn, what language we can use? That's why Lumumba, the son of Africa, is always telling us that we need to examine. Anyway, let's go to the next one, which is Traore message, because today is going to be about you listening to these wise men and women of Africa who are standing up. They don't care what is going to happen to them. They don't really care. With them, they are there, and their voice will be heard one day. It might be not today, but tomorrow and the future. The future generation will remember them as Africans who stood up for justice in Africa, who stood up for Africans, so that one day Africa will have a common language. One day Africa will be one. One day Africa won't have all those greedy leaders who are there to sacrifice other leaders. This is how I'm going to put it. Because with them, it's just greediness. They'll give back. They'll give away their brothers and sisters just for the sake of bribes. What did Traore say about it? Let's feed our children with our own brains. We have our own minerals. We have our own riches. We have our own languages. As you can see, the connection from Lumumba to Traore. Let's feed our children with our own. How can you let your children be fed by someone who doesn't even know you better? You don't even know their culture. You don't even understand who they are. Then you are allowing those people to feed your children. No, Traore said no. Let's feed our children with our own. Don't be cheated when you go to those shops. You find there's a gold chain which is costed a lot of things, and that gold chain is written made in UK, made in US. But you ask yourself a question that, do they have gold there? No. Why do they have gold reserves? It's from Africa. We need to teach our children to know that. Do you know what? This is not the right way. We are rich here in Africa. We've got minerals. We've got gold. We've got diamond. We've got oil. We've got even resources that are being used to produce iPhones. I'll mention iPhone, all those mobile phones in Africa. But many Africans are using latest iPhone? No, we are denied. Are we going to continue depending on their wisdom? They'll take from us, then they will use our intelligence and produce something. They will use our minerals to produce something. Africa, listen to what Traore is saying. He is opening our eyes. He might not be there one day, but at least we have to remember him as a leader who opened our eyes. He's talking about the children. Who are the children? These are the future generation. We are the children of Africa. Let's stop being fed by strangers, because we can feed our children. Africa, our motherland, can feed us, her children, with everything, whether agriculture, whether good soil. Everything is there in Africa. Why are we letting our resources to become our dictators? Why are we struggling? We cannot even have organic food. But if you find out that organic food, which is even found commonly in those countries in the West, is from Africa. Our mother Africa produced that. But today, it has turned into our father Africa. The mother is providing you with food, but that food now is being taken away from your mother. How does it feel? Let's listen to Traore clip as we continue to subscribe and like and comment, so that we can know what do you think. Do you believe, do you agree in all this? Do you agree what Lumumba is saying? This is so debatable. Do you agree on Traore, what he said? Drop a comment as we continue listen to Traore message.
They hand over our resources, gold, oil, land, in exchange for temporary power, personal wealth, and photo ops. These are the men who wear the mask of freedom. While bowing to the same masters our ancestors died to escape. Enough. We are not free if we are governed by remote control. We are not sovereign if our budgets are drafted by foreign consultants. We are not independent if we must beg for the right to feed our children with our own grain, to mine our own minerals, to use our own currency. What is this if not the refined version of slavery? Once they chained our ancestors, now they chain our economies. Once they whipped our backs up, now they whip our governments into submission with interest rates, sanctions, and conditions. So I ask you, what has really changed? Is a puppet less dangerous because it wears a national flag? Is the slave less bound because the chains are invisible? To the African people watching me now, I say this: you were not born to be ruled by foreign interests hiding behind African faces. Your soil is sacred, your voice is powerful, and your destiny cannot be outsourced to Brussels, Beijing, or Washington. Leadership is not diplomacy with the oppressed. My dear people of Burkina Faso, fellow Africans, and friends across the world, I stand before you today with a message.
How can it be that Africa is the richest continent, but our minerals such as gold, diamond are being mined by foreigners? This is message from Traore. Let's make Africa great again by supporting leaders like Traore, Professor Lumumba, and the rest. Let's be encouraged to take ownership of our narrative and drive positive change to the continent of Africa. Africans, we need to be serious. We need to take Africa serious by making sure that we are fighting for what belongs to us Africans. This is how Africa is rising, by producing all these leaders who are there to come and tell the world the truth. Because this truth has been hidden hiding for a long time. That's why Africa was called a poor continent. Africans are very poor. Africans, what they do is begging. But Traore said, listen to this video.
My dear people of Burkina Faso, fellow Africans, and friends across the world, I stand before you today with a message of truth, responsibility, and vision. I recently addressed our brilliant African students studying at the prestigious Dmitry Mendeleev University in Russia, a place of great scientific knowledge. And today I want to share that same message with you all. Our cooperation with Russia is not about begging for financial aid or handouts. We are not there to ask for money. We are not there to depend on others. No. Our partnership is built on something more powerful, education and the transfer of scientific knowledge. It is knowledge that will free us. It is knowledge that will build our nations. It is knowledge that will make Africa strong and self-reliant. I saw young Africans studying chemistry, radiotechnology, and advanced sciences, subjects that our countries urgently need to master. Yet many of us back home studied these subjects only in theory. From high school to university, we learn to balance chemical equations, calculate thermodynamic values, and memorize scientific laws, but we do not practice them. Since my school days, I remember how students struggled with the periodic table. Some joke that Mendeleev, who created the table, did it.
The message is clear. Africans must build, not beg. This is a vision for change. We need to change our narrative, thinking that we are poor. We have to beg each and every time. They've made us to be beggars. They've made us to be who we are now because they believe that they took everything. They are taking everything from us because they believe we are blind. Now, they are making us to become beggars. This is what is happening. Up to now, all those corrupt leaders, all those leaders who are there, turning against their African brothers who are speaking the truth, they are the leaders who are turning Africa into beggars because they are very corrupt. With them in their homes, they've got everything. In their homes, they can manage getting their kids abroad to be educated, to get special education. But that education is even in Africa. Africa can hold their beautiful universities. Africa can afford to have beautiful hospitals. Africa can afford to have beautiful roads. Africa can afford to be built. Even Africa can be beautiful more than how Western countries are. But because of these greedy leaders in Africa, they are the ones who have turned Africa into a beggar. Traore is saying, don't. We need to build Africa. We need to show them. You can see how Traore is building Burkina Faso. You can see how Traore is not ashamed or scared or frightened, I have to put like that, of anyone, because he doesn't care about what they're saying. But he wants to show the world that we can do it by using our own resources, our own gold, our own oil, our own gas, our own agricultural products, our own farms. We can use that. We can build Africa like how he's building. We can build roads. We can build everything. We can do everything we want without begging from anyone, without asking, with conditions, so that when they give us conditions, they'll tell you, give us your God. We'll build this road for you. We are forgetting that road is not worth our God. That God was God-given resources, God-given minerals. We've got that in Africa. But still, Africa is starving. Still, African kids are dying. Still, Africa is lacking hospitals. Still, Africa is lacking roads. It can happen. If it's happening in Burkina Faso, in Niger, in other countries, why not Africa as a whole? If we are going to stand up, Africans, and get rid of those all corrupt leaders and get rid of all those people who are taking our minerals, Africa will be a richest and beautiful continent, because we won't lack anything. They want to be any famine in Africa. They want to be all these unwanted deaths, unwanted illness, because you know sometimes they will use us by bringing all those strange pandemics. This is not our Africa we are talking about. Our Africa is the motherland. Our Africa is richer than that. Is richer than them. We need to be proud of our Africa by making sure that we support these leaders who are standing out for the truth for Africa to rise. Let's listen. Dr. Arikana Chihombori-Quao. She is based in USA but a Zimbabwean. And she is a public speaker, a diplomat, and she is a medical doctor and an activist. This woman doesn't care, as I said before. She'll say as it is. So I want you to listen to her speech as you subscribe, like, comment, and share.
What's happening in Burkina Faso must be supported. What's happening in Mali must be supported. What's happening in Niger must be supported. If you care the least bit about our future, how else are we going to get France out of Africa? How else are we going to get Britain, Germany, all those former colonizers? They're now in as multinationals, siphoning billions out of Africa, using safe havens to hide their returns. We know they're here. They are now wolf in sheep's clothing. What is it going to take? If you look at the move that Niger made, by simply saying, France, you can no longer buy our uranium for 80 cents a kilo, when we know very well you're selling it for 200 euros per kilo. Niger was realizing about 1 billion out of it.
You've heard what she said. We don't need the world. The world needs us Africans. They are the ones who need Africa. Why is it like that? Because Africa has got everything. Everything they are showing us is from Africa. They don't have anything. We've got oceans. We've got gold. We've got mines. We've got a lot of resources which are, some of them, they are not even discovered. We've got all the diamond in Africa. But what are we doing? Letting foreigners take control of our mines. Let foreigners take control of our farming. In the name of, oh, we are going to teach you new ways, modern ways of farming. We've got wisdom. We've got intelligence. We've got engineers. We've got technicians. We've got what it takes in Africa. The list can go on and on. And you can even remind me some of the stuff, some of the resources we have in Africa. I can talk about it the whole day. But you know what I'm talking about. So, Arikana thought, no, I need to remind Africans. We don't need them. They are the ones who need us. That's why they are trying really hard to seal our mouth. They don't want us to talk about it. Let's listen to another speech from Dr. Arikana Chihombori while we subscribe, like, and comment.
The same people who have the audacity to tell us that we are poor countries. They are taking trillions out of Africa every year. And what is the African doing? Like an obedient, programmed black man, we just give in. And then one might say, why is it that African leaders haven't done anything about this deplorable situation? Well, let me tell you, my brother and sister, they have tried. Documented to this day, 22 coups where leaders were assassinated. The first 7, when they decided they were pulling out of the CFA and that they're going to print their own money, they were assassinated. Every time an African leader has tried to do what's best for their country, they were assassinated. Majority of them aided by France, who felt that when there was a natural resource discovered in one country, they wanted to create a coup. So while the country is thrown into a civil war, they're siphoning the natural resource.
The message. They claim we are poor, but they are taking trillions. And if leaders comes out and speaks out, they are assassinated. If they want to do something for their people or open their people's eyes, that leader will just disappear. That leader will be taken as an enemy. This is what is happening. Africans, why are we allowing this type of leaders to destroy Africa? Do you believe that they don't care about us? They don't care about the future generation. They don't care because with them, they are benefiting. The little they are benefiting, with them is enough. They are forgetting because they are selling Africa. We've had this history about selling Africa, selling our own brothers and sisters. Do you believe that slave trade finished? It's still there. Because these leaders, they are still doing it. They are selling their own. They are being used to sell their own. Why? Because everyone out there wants Africa. They have benefited. They have built their countries. They've got gold reserves just because they stole from Africa. Africa, rise. I will end this video by also demonstrating, showing you that it's not all about Africa. Because they want to dictate. They want to dictate. Let's listen again to this speech by Dr. Ariana.
Why are we still going to the United Nations as Africans? That is a useless entity. It's not for us. The largest voting bloc in the United Nations are the African nations. We don't have a seat on the table. Why do we go there? We go to the United Nations to vote on their issues. They pay African countries, or vote with us on this issue, vote with us on this issue. We have no business going to the United Nations, period. We need to tell Secretary Guterres, thank you very much, but we're no longer going to attend United Nations. It's not our entity. Until we have true representation there. Goodbye.
Right.
That means true.
Sure.
With every.
What did she say? Why are we still going to the United Nations? And I've even heard that now headquarters of United Nations is going to be in Kenya. They built already. This is Africa. You see? This is Africa. They say it was very expensive to run where it used to be. Now it's going to be based in Kenya. This is Africa. Why are we still going to the UN as Africans? We know that they want us there because we are the one voting for their issues. We are a voting bloc. They will need us and even bribe us with money. As you can see, the United Nations headquarters now will be based in Kenya. We need to tell them that we are not coming. You see, they are going to cry. How are we going to tell them now? Because even this leader of Kenya agreed for the headquarters to be built in the African soil. What is all that? This type of leaders now will be excited because they benefit. They are not thinking about their people, but they are thinking about their pockets. This is our Africa. And this Dr. Ariana is telling us, she's showing us what is happening. She's reminding us that if we are not careful, Africa will be completely sold. Because Africa already has gone through colonization, slave trade, you name it, and you know. We don't want that. We don't want them. That's why you see the leaders like Traore, leader of Niger, leader of Mali, they were so tired, very tired. They have to do whatever they could have done best because enough was enough. Are you one of the African who has had enough? Let me know. Especially you young African leaders. What do you think about leaders? Is it only about Africa? Let me conclude with this. Listen to President Mia's speech. President Mia is from Barbados. Listen to the speech. That's how you're going to open your eyes and understand that if we are not standing up, because they target even our brothers and sisters in the Caribbean. Listen to this speech.
This matter with the Cubans and the nurses should tell us everything that we need to know. Barbados does not currently have Cuban medical staff or Cuban nurses, but I will be the first to go to the line and to tell you that we could not get through the pandemic without the Cuban nurses and the Cuban doctors. I will also be the first to tell you that we paid them the same thing that we pay Bajans, and that the notion, as was peddled not just by this government in the US, but the previous government, that we were involved in human trafficking by engaging with the Cuban nurses was fully repudiated and rejected by us. Now, I don't believe that we have to shout across the seas, but I am prepared, like others in this region, that if we cannot reach a sensible agreement on this matter, then if the cost of it is the loss of my visa to the US, then so be it. But what matters to us is principles. And I have said over and over that principles only mean something when it is inconvenient to stop.
If it wasn't for the Cuban doctors and nurses, the time of the pandemic, we were meant to be finished. We were meant to die. A lot of people here were meant to die. But these Cuban doctors and nurses, they did a good job. So why are you telling us, even making threats, that you are going to strip all Caribbean official visas for allowing doctors and nurses from Cuba to work in our countries? Enough is enough. This was the message from Mia Barbados to Marco Rubio, who threatened the Caribbean countries, including Jamaica, that this is what we are going to do. Because if they are not in good terms with the Cuban doctors, they want to tell you who can work for you. You can see how they are manipulating, how they want to manipulate. But because of leaders like President Mia and the rest, that's why it's not going to happen, because everyone is tired. Some of these leaders and activists are tired. They've opened their eyes that please don't stop manipulating us. Leave us to run our countries as we want, not you manipulating us. Don't forget to subscribe, like, comment, and share. Africans, Caribbeans, do you want our continent to be ruled by these oppressors, by these people who are still manipulating us? Or you want us to speak out and support all these leaders who are there and stand up for the truth? Africa, rise. Before it's too late, Africa, rise. Let's all support all these leaders and these activists so that Africa can be great again. Thank you very much. God bless you abundantly. Ciao, ciao. Bye.